And there's our confirmation. It seems that the indictment of Donald Trump is coming, and the evidence, Robert Costa reports. He's chief election and campaign correspondent for CBS News, says steel barricades arriving outside Manhattan criminal court. And that is it. An 8-second segment where barricades are being unloaded by the NYPD outside of the Manhattan criminal court, where they believe Donald Trump will be indicted. Now,
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm recording this on Monday night. Well, it appears that tomorrow is the day that Donald Trump is going to be arrested. Now, if this actually happens, this will be one of the worst mistakes the Democrats have probably ever made. Because here's the thing. Right now, Trump's campaign, I know they're afraid of it, but it's actually a little bit stale. You know, Trump has just come back to YouTube. He's just come back to Facebook. But he's not on Twitter. He's not dominating the news cycle. They've been doing a coordinated blackout of him on Fox News, CNN, MSNBC. No one's really talking about him unless it's negative. So he hasn't really been dominating the news cycle. However, that changes if you arrest him. Because the news media has already started covering this to a pretty big degree. If I go on YouTube and I look at any of my recommendeds, there are news feeds about, Trump, is he going to be arrested? Now imagine if that actually happens. Trump surrenders himself, they arrest him, they perp walk him, on screen there's Trump in handcuffs and all that. If they do that, it's over. Trump will win the presidency in 2024. Because here's what I would do if I were Trump in that position. I would exploit every ounce of it to my advantage. I would have my lawyer record a video of me in the jail cell. In fact, I would ask, hey, can you hand me some handcuffs so that I can re-handcuff myself inside the cell? I would do a video saying, this is what they do to their political opposition while your savings, while your food, while everything goes up in price, while you lose the value of your future, while you look your kids in the eye and you see that they are making the world an unsafe place, dragging us closer to World War III, bankrupting us, bankrupting your kids for future generations, depleting our oil reserves, making us dependent on China and Russia for oil, while they continue to destroy this country and everything that it stands for with these drag queen story hours, critical race theory, and they can't even tell you what a woman is, but they have time to illegally prosecute me because I got in their way. I would have that playing on every station that would take my ad. I mean, it would be a couple hours after I got arrested. That would be playing around the clock. They arrested me. The system's corrupt. Absolutely. It would be the best marketing you could possibly imagine. And the media sites that blacked out Trump, while some of them may just focus on some of the stuff that he said, like in passing, they wouldn't actually show the video. Fox News would. Tucker Carlson would. Hannity would. They would absolutely cover this and put it out there. Republicans who don't like Trump would come out in support of him because they have to. People who would much rather be shitting on Trump would have to come out and support him. there would be a solidarity in the Republican Party like you haven't seen. This would not be good for Democrats. While the country is headed towards World War III, while you lose your value in your wallet and in your investments, while food goes up, while interest on your payments go up, inflation goes up, everything goes up, you're losing money, losing value, you're losing the heart and soul of your country. Degeneracy is run amok, and yet they have time to prosecute Trump for a crime that they've known about for years, past the statute of limitations, abusing the system to prosecute a political enemy. It will be biblical in terms of the disaster, which is why I wouldn't do this. If I'm a Democrat, I would be going, okay, you can't do this. Especially now that Trump has come out and said that. Like, okay, so if they had planned on doing this, the correct way to do it would be to try to get Trump off guard. Where it's like, we've just broken in, Donald Trump has been arrested for this thing, and really have a lot of confusion. That would be the best way to go forward if you were going to do that. But instead, Trump made it perfectly clear. The media has been talking about it, so we know what it is. We know that it's a frivolous, baseless allegation. Republicans now have had time to gear up, and they're sending a letter to the Manhattan District Attorney. This could potentially be very, very bad for Democrats. And all it takes is you going forward tomorrow. Now, we've seen police setting up barricades, and I think it's for tomorrow. I think that the police are going to be there. I think what's going to happen is they're going to say that Trump is, we are indicting Donald Trump, and Trump is going to turn himself in, which, why would he not? I know that Tim Pool and others say, well, Ron DeSantis could fight. Ron DeSantis is not going to fight shit. Ron DeSantis made it very clear. We don't want anything to do with this fight. We're not going to get in the way. We're not going to intervene. We're not going to do anything. Ron DeSantis gave one of the weakest statements. I know people are applauding him. I don't understand that. It was one of the weakest statements I've ever heard. I have things to do for Floridian citizens. Donald Trump is a Floridian citizen, you fucking loser. Donald Trump is a Floridian citizen. What you should have done, Ron, is you should have come out and said, we will not be allowing them to extradite Donald Trump. He is a Florida citizen. He's under my protection as governor of the state of Florida. And even if I may have disagreements with him on certain things, we will not be giving in to a radical, far-left, lawless, Soros-backed district attorney. And then ending with something like, we'll see you in court. You see, that would be the way to handle it. To come out swinging. Instead, Ron did this thing where he's like, well, we're not going to get involved, and I have better things to do. And it's like, it was a very weak, very pathetic answer when he could have taken it and knocked it right out of the park. You're not coming for a Floridian citizen. I mean, it wasn't very good. I don't think his speech was very good. But Trump will turn himself in. And it'll be very interesting to see what they do. Because if they put him in a jail cell, Secret Service will have to be there. So, yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? Are you going to try to say, well, we're going to put Trump in isolation? Are we gonna put him in solitary confinement? Like, so the Secret Service agents could, I don't know. I don't know how you handle this, but no matter what you do, it's a lose. Meanwhile, if you really wanted Trump to lose, if you really wanted him to to blunder, there are ways that you could do that. There are ways that you could do that. You could, if you wanted to defeat Trump, it actually isn't that hard to do. Because there are several things that Trump has not apologized for or admitted to. There's several things that Trump supporters really don't like about Trump. They may support him, but you say, why didn't Trump pardon the January 6th rioters when he had the chance? Why did Trump appoint Fauci? Why did he continue to have Fauci there instead of firing him? Why did Trump shut down the government? Why did Trump do all of these different things that conservatives are now against? Why did Trump not go in and stop the Summer of Love? There are many, many things. Why did Trump not crack down on big tech and social media when he had the chance? There was a Republican Senate, a Republican House, and Trump had the presidency. Why did you not do anything in the time that you had? So there are plenty of things that you can hit Trump on and defeat him legitimately, I believe. You could go the route of saying, well, everything is Trump's fault, sure, and then do this on top of that, but I don't think that's going to work. If you want to beat Trump, you got to be honest. You got to come at him with things that his audience know are true, that they can't refute because they believe in strongly. Now, some of them they may find an excuse for, a justification for, but they don't like that. So you remind them that they don't like that. Hey, this guy that was supposed to be your champion, I mean, think about it. All the things that he did. Fauci, you don't like Fauci? You don't like the vaccine? Trump made the vaccine. He boasted about the vaccine. You don't like Fauci? Trump was the one that put Fauci in the position. So there are ways to go after Donald Trump that don't involve abuses of power and just this absolute, almost criminal level of corruption. So it'll be a very interesting couple of hours when Tuesday hits, and we'll see what the news cycle is. If they indict Trump for this, it's going to be one of the biggest mistakes they've ever made. What I will say in closing is that if you are a Trump supporter, there are ways to protest, but do not, under any circumstances, go to Manhattan or go to any place where there are large portions of Democrats, because here's what's going to happen. The FBI is already aware of this. They are going to be glowing like the Northern Star. They are going to be looking to push people into violence so that they can crack down and arrest people. And because you're in a blue area, those juries are always going to convict you. They are always going to find you guilty. So, there are other ways to protest. You can create videos like I'm doing. You can post on social media. You can get together in gatherings in your local area and post that online and film yourself in great numbers and have little tailgate parties. Have things that say, we support Trump. Post that online. Make that public. Get a large group of people together. Contact your local newspaper and say, we're going down here. We're going to peacefully protest. We're going to have, a party here for our town. There are ways that you can peacefully do it. But if you go there with the intention to do anything less than just let your voice be heard, or even if you're going there for that, the FBI is as corrupt and evil as an institution can be. We saw that with what they're doing to Donald Trump. We saw that with, well, I mean, just about everything they did with Trump. They spun on his campaign. Remember Strzok and I don't even remember their names. The lovers, Page and Strzok, rogue FBI agents, but I don't think they were rogue. I think that they were leftists that were at the FBI, and I think that's become fairly normal. Anyway, yeah, just keep your wits about you. Don't do anything crazy. The left is looking for an opportunity to use this as another January 6th, which January 6th wasn't even January 6th. But they're going to try to turn it into that. Don't let them. Don't give them an inch. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll see you next time.